All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you live from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, and in Europe on Radio X. Worldwide toll-free 800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. And if you'd like to listen to the X Zone, 7/24/365, or just the broadcast from 8 p.m. until midnight, Monday through Friday, just go to www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Charles Chuck Stansburge, and he is a STAR team member for MUFON, a field investigator, Texas State Section 12 director, and on the Case Assistance Group team with 23 counties in his charge. He is also the interim state director of Idaho until they get their own. And the website that we are promoting tonight is MUFON.com. And as everyone knows, MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network. And Chuck, welcome back to the X Zone. Busy times these days for MUFON?
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Yes, we've been having quite a few sightings coming up. As a matter of fact, I've got about 5 or 6 cases sitting right here on my desk. We get quite a few, actually. We try to disperse them around field investigators as well.
Chuck, what got you involved in MUFON? Did you have your own experience?
Yeah, I had my own experience, but I had my own group here in Texas for maybe 6-7 months or so. It started kind of falling apart, and I kind of tried to contact MUFON, and there was a little bit of a iffy part going on there, and it got straightened up real quick, and 5 years ago, as a matter of fact, I joined MUFON, and within 2 weeks of being a member of MUFON, I was promoted basically as a state section director. And at the time, I only had 9 counties, but things changed, so I got 23 counties now in my charge. And what really got me started basically was way back when I was in high school. And it kind of really got my interest. And from there on, it got escalated.
Are UFO sightings up? Are they down? Or are they staying basically the same as far as you know?
As far as I know right now, we're having more than normal. Say, for instance, the U.S. averages right around 500 and something a month.
Wow.
Sometimes it'll get up to about 600-700. And the state of Texas will average roughly around 52, 53 a month. And right now it's sitting at about 67, 66. And some of these cases are like, for instance, I've got one sitting here that goes all the way back to 1992. And I have one that goes back to 1970-something. And people are just figuring out, I guess, MUFON is here. Let me go ahead and report this sighting, even though it took, it was way back when. We call that a historical case. Because it's already long lost, and some of the information that we might try to get from local authorities, we can't get it because they don't have any information about it. or it's not in the newspaper or anything like this. So that's what we search for. We search all the different type of radio stations, TV, and the authorities such as Highway Patrol, the regular police department,
Right.
Sheriff's offices, even the Air Force and Navy Air stations and such, which I do. I do a lot of calling them, and we don't know what you're talking about. This kind of thing.
Sure. Stand by, Chuck. You and I have to take a brief break. Exonation. Chuck Stansburge is our special guest. We're talking to Chuck. He is the MUFON State Director for Section 12. He's a member of the STAR team, a CAG member, and a field investigator. If you'd like to report a UFO, or if you'd like more information on MUFON, their main website is www.mufon.com. We'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology right here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't go away. You're listening to the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Welcome back, everyone. Chuck Stansburge is my special guest. He is the MUFON State Section 12 Director, STAR Team member, CAG member, and a field investigator. For more information about MUFON, or if you'd like to join MUFON, their website is www.mufon.com. Exonation, when Chuck sent me the information that we asked him for the show, there was an update that caught my attention, and I was asking Chuck about it when we were on the break. Here's the update. I have been on board a battleship, in brackets UFO, a few times as a guest, then as a member of the crew. I am what you call a lieutenant in our world, and with a crew of 7. The crew is half ET, vegans, and reptilian, and the others are human. I do go up at least once a week at a time, and sometimes every 2 weeks for about 2 to 3 days. I also had my DNA taken, and I now have a hybrid daughter, and she is 4 years old. Her name is Starlight and is beautiful. She stays with her mother on their planet, and I do visit there now and then, and they do come to the ship, and I am the ship that I am on to see me before we head out to the war zone. I really enjoy what I do here on Earth, investigating sightings, abductions, and mutilations. I have been it has been about 26 years now that I have been involved with ufology. Tell me about this battleship.
This battleship is massive.
How big would you say how big
the
is the
commander of it is his name is Ferric, and they are reptilian. They're vegans, and what got my interest was on that part when I was introduced to him from a friend of mine that is a contactee, and so therefore I became a contactee as well. And they knew that they found out that I was in the military at one time here on Earth, and they wanted to know what kind of big guns or small guns, whatever the case may be, that I have dealt with. I told them, and they decided to once they became focused on me and my trust, you might say, and their trust, everything started working pretty good, and they assigned a trainer to have me on the guns, and it went from there, and I kind of enjoyed it. The trainers usually up on board ship is a female, and she trained me very well, And but as far as the ship is, it has separate quarters, and you have, I think, if I'm not wrong, there is, I believe, 7 or 8 different types of beings, including humans, on board. If I'm not mistaken, Sarek. And he says, yes, you are right. So he's telepathically talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, they have their own quarters, and they have their own types of food. Per se, you might, I don't know some of what they are. I don't want to know some of them. But we have our own food as far as we have a big area for ourselves. And in the middle is where the food comes out and everybody comes together and eats and stuff, on different shifts and stuff. This ship has artificial gravity, and it's not as heavy as Earth is. So if you got to kind of watch how you step. Let's put it that way. And if you just normal walk, which is good. If you try to run, then you might be going down on your face or something because you'd be going quite a ways. But other than that, it's pretty good. We do go out. I mean, as far as the ship itself, it can handle up to 500,000. And it's got turret guns on all sides. Like I said, it's one of the command ships with smaller ships that go with it. There is what I would call a flagship, like we would with our military.
Right.
I call it a flagship, and it's a little bit bigger than what his is. And this is where the Galactic Alliance is. They have their meetings, and they make sure that everything's fine in our galaxy. And that's what we're protecting, is our galaxy. Not only just Earth, but the galaxy itself.
Charles, Chuck, you were saying 500,000 before. Were you talking about 500,000 people on board this ship?
Yes.
Wow. How big is the ship?
It's huge, believe me. I can't really say how big, but if you take one of the smaller states, well, let's put it this way. Here you have the city of, I would say, New York, with how many million people.
Mm-hmm.
Bring that down to 500,000, and you may have a ship right there.
Wow.
Okay, about that big as far as where Manhattan is.
So where does the ship stay? Does it stay within Earth orbit? Does it stay on the far side of the moon? Does it stay somewhere within our solar system?
It stays pretty much in our solar system, but the closest part it comes to us as far as our area, maybe Pluto or maybe one more up. But other than that, they have smaller ships to use to come and get what we call our food, and but they tour, or I should say they go around the galaxy itself on patrol on a constant basis. The only time they stop is to get nourishment, such as water and whatever kind of drinks that these other beings make. And they also go to other planets from the beings that are on there, and to get their type of food and stuff and bring it on board. And the question was always asked me of, what do you eat up there? Well, what we eat is just like hamburgers, steaks, eggs and bacon, just a normal thing
right.
that we would have here on Earth. because we do have people that go on board a smaller ship,
Mm-hmm.
and they are brought to Earth on, matter of fact, there's like a dozen ships, and they all land on different parts of the planet to pick up food for the certain type of people that are on there. Whether it be Asian, American, Mexican, doesn't matter. So everything is caught up and brought up there, and we're good for probably, I don't know, a couple months.
What's the longest you have stayed aboard the ship on patrol?
6 days.
6 days.
Yeah. But when they brought me back, it was like 3 hours after they picked me up. So I was gone for that time,
Mm-hmm.
and yet they brought me back on the time period that they pulled me up.
When you're gone for these 6 days, how do you explain your disappearance or your not being around for 6 days?
Well, let me put it this way.
Okay.
When my wife comes in and she doesn't see me there, she goes, "Okay, I know where he is." And then she goes back to the room, and then the rest of the plane here, my son-in-law, my daughter, they all know the same thing, that if I'm not here, then they know where I'm at.
Tell me about your 4-year-old daughter. What was her name? Starlight.
Right, yes. She's a beautiful young lady,
Mm-hmm.
and she likes to play with some of the earthly toys and everything, which is good. She's learning the English language as well as her own. And the planet is like, I think, about, it's on the other side. It's on the other side of the Pleiades star system. And so it's in our galaxy. And I go there once in a while. It's a beautiful planet. And it's just gorgeous. And what they did was they took DNA from me, and evidently, I don't know how they, impregnate their kind,
Mm-hmm.
but evidently they did. And the mother, they're like in the gray part, or the gray series of aliens, if you will. But they're tall. She's like about 8 foot, and she's kind of pretty herself, from what she is as far as being a alien.
Right.
And she's kind of pretty. And we go to the planet now and again. They have our little get together and everything. And I go back, and it's that's how I got the. It was a big surprise actually, because this was like a year ago, and I was on board, and we got onto a smaller ship because we were close to there, and we got on a smaller ship and went to the planet, and we landed and we got out. Went in, we sat down and was talking a little bit, and we went outside, and when we went outside in the back, everybody was standing around.
All right, Charles, we're going to have a little bit of a cliffhanger here because I have to take my news break at the bottom of the hour. Thanks so much for joining us, Charles, and for sharing this fascinating story. Exonation, my guest this hour is Charles Stansburge. He is with MUFON. He is a MUFON State Section Director. He is also a member of the STAR team, the CAG members, and a field investigator. For more information on MUFON, www.mufon.com. And Charles and Chuck and I will be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Radio's authority on the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology. Celebrating 25 years of broadcasting. Broadcasting around the world and to the great beyond.
Welcome back, everyone. Chuck Stansburg's our special guest. He is with MUFON. He is just a second here. Let me see. MUFON State Section 12 Director, STAR Team member, CAG member, and a field investigator. For more information on MUFON, visit www.mufon.com. Now, before we went to the news at the bottom of the hour, Chuck, you and I were just starting to talk about your daughter who, with her mom, lives on the other side of the Pleiades or of Sirians? Pleiades. Right. And you get to see her once in a while, and she is your daughter through DNA, right?
Yes.
Okay. And during the break, I was asking you what it's like only to see your daughter once in a while, and it's a long way away. From the time you leave your home to get on the smaller ship to get to the bigger ship, to the time you get to see your daughter, what is the period of time?
Well, from here, they make sure I'm asleep, and at least I try to be. And sometimes I'm awake when they go to pick me up, and there's a grunt next to me, like that. And I'll say, sorry about that. Next thing you know, I'm on board ship. Now, the ship that I go on the first place is a smaller one, so we can go up to the main ship itself, the mothership.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get on board there, then we go towards on the other side of the Pleiades. It only takes about the way they do it is they bend time and
space.
Time and space, and it only takes maybe about an hour to get there. And once we're there, we slow down, and then we go on another smaller ship and then land on the plane and have our fun and enjoy the my daughter. She's very beautiful, but like I said, it was like a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
First went there about it, and I saw her when they come out with her, and myself and a few others were standing around, and they brought her out there. And I said, "Oh, she's beautiful. Who is she?" And all of them, there's like 4 or 5 of them. They said, "Yours."
Oh my gosh!
What? So they explained to me what they did. They just took my DNA and impregnated her mother, and she come out here, and there she is. She's beautiful.
Her mother is 8 foot tall, or thereabouts. How tall is your daughter, Starlight, at the age of 4?
She's about, let's see, about 3 foot, 4 foot.
Wow. She's going to be a big girl.
Yeah, she's going to be kind of tall, I think. She's going to be like a
What's their planet like? What is the name of their planet?
I never found out what the name of the planet was. All I know is about where it is. But it's beautiful.
Is it like Earth?
Yeah. And it's got water, waterfalls, grass, mountains. Yeah,
wow.
It's beautiful.
What is the mode of transportation that they use on that planet?
They use small ships. Let's put it that way. Like 1 or 2 of the ones that you might see with Billy Meyer, but they're not quite shaped like that. They buzz around. They don't really have highways around there. They just buzz around, go somewhere, and then land. And go off to another place.
You mentioned Billy Meyer. What his case is quite filled with controversy. I've had the pleasure of talking to Michael Horn a great number of times. I've met Michael. What is your take on the Meyer case?
Well, let me put it this way. They have tried many, many times to debunk him.
Right.
And some of his photos and videos. They never could do it. They even used you probably know this, they even used a makeshift, they built one that was like about maybe a foot long or a foot wide, and they put it out on the string, like fishing line,
Right.
and they would kind of move it around and then took a video and stuff on it. And they took a picture of that and also the real UFO, put them side by side, and tried to analyze them and tear them down. Billy Meyer's photo, they could not. The one they made, it was just torn all to pieces.
Now, the ETs that you work with on board the battleship, are they the same ETs that make themselves known to Billy?
No. The ones that I work with are vegans. They're called vegans, and they're reptilian, and those are the ones I work with. And their planet, matter of fact, is 756 million light years away, which would be in a different galaxy.
Yeah. The reptilians have a bad reputation here with a number of the contactees, and it seems that you work with them on board the battleship. Is the reputation that the reptilians have all wrong?
There are several different types of reptilians around here. The ones I work with are helping to keep Earth and our galaxy safe,
That's it.
along with a couple other different species. And there are other types that try to manipulate somebody to come on board. You know, hey, come on, we like you. You know, you're human and you're good. You know, and come on, we'll have some dinner, and you're the dinner. But you know, we try to keep them away from humans as much as possible, which we do, and other planets as well on this galaxy. And it's rough. It's pretty rough to keep everything on the up and up and keep the bad boys away.
Let me ask you this, Chuck. How does it? How has your knowledge, having worked and still working with the ETs aboard the battleship, you go away for 6 days. You've got a daughter, on the other side of the Pleiades. So you know for a fact that UFOs are real. How does this affect the way in which you conduct a UFO investigation for MUFON?
It does not bother me because when I do the investigations, I read exactly what people are saying about what took place when they saw their ship or their object, if you will. And some of them are just regular orange, some of them are white, some of them are a beautiful blue, which turns white and black to blue and stuff. When we investigate this, I check everything feasible, whether it be a star, whether it be a drone or anything like this. I mean, I really get into the specifics of investigating some of these cases, and then you find out that we really don't know what it is, so we put it in a UAV, and which is the unknown aerial. Instead of us saying a UFO, we say unknown aerial UAV. And,
but here you are, Chuck. You've actually gone up in these craft. You've gone on, on voyages, light years of travel, and you're asked to investigate a UFO, or that people call UFOs, who don't have the experience that you have. Why are these sightings not being taken more seriously? And how do you leave from planet Earth, go to a ship that is somewhere near Pluto without being detected?
The ships are not detected that far away, mostly, unless you have a powerful
telescope.
Yeah. Anyway, It's kind of like my video camera. The other day, well, actually, this was about maybe 3 weeks ago. I had to let the cat out.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to get up, and this was like 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
And so I looked up and I saw the morning star, which would be Sirius. So I grabbed my camera, went in there, and zoomed in on it. And then, boy, I'll tell you what, that was some photo or some video I got of that night. It was beautiful. And my elbow slipped, so I had to redo it. And I saw something just up to the right side of it, on the upper right side of it. I said, what the heck is that? So I zoomed in on that, and lo and behold, it was a huge, huge UFO. And it had red, green, blue lights and everything flashing. It was just sitting there. And I backed away from it. I zoomed in again, and then it took off. But it only got maybe just a few seconds of it. But I still saw it. And I thought, wow, this is amazing, And so I kind of was telling everybody about it, and I even showed a few people of it when we go to meetings. Because I have meetings every month. And it helps keep the aspect of sightings and I would say intriguing people that want to know what's going on up there. And even though they've never seen anything, they may not. They may say, we don't know what's up there, but we would like to find out.
What do your other members of MUFON say about your, you're going all over the place in this battleship or this battle cruiser, and the fact that you have a daughter on the other side of the Pleiades? How do they react to that?
They reacted to it with enthusiasm, which kind of surprised me in a sense, because I had told them, I first told them about me going up and what was going on, and they poured all kinds of questions. How did you do that? And how did you get to go on board? And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I keep getting from them, I want to go. I want to go on a cruise. I want to just go have an experience. And I said, well, I'll see what I can do. All I can do is just tell them that you would like to go. And from there, it's up to them. It's not up to me.
Does the commander of the ship ever allow other members of MUFON to go on the ship with them?
There was one, yes. He doesn't remember it, but yes, he was there. He was one of our big directors, basically. At the time, I think he was our state director, if I'm not sure. But he was taken up, and he didn't realize, he just didn't know about it, because they didn't want him, I guess, to... a lot of times they don't want people to know exactly what's going on. They may have just a quick look at something, and let them have a quick look at something, and then maybe if you think about it and okay, was I up there, was I not? Chances are you may get the gist of what actually took place, and you can see where you were.
How do the extraterrestrials that you work with on board this ship, how do they feel about you telling people about the work that you do with the ETs? And, how do they feel about you telling people outside of the circle that you have a daughter?
They don't mind it at all.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, they implore me to put the word out there that I work with them, and this is what I do on board, and so on and so forth. But as far as my daughter goes, that was something on my own, and they didn't care if I did or not say it because it was up to me at the time. And so I decided to go ahead and pass the word out. Just that simple. I'm not afraid to talk about all this stuff because it's very real.
Do you have any pictures of your daughter?
I wish I did, but I won't. They're not allowing me to do that.
Aw. Do you have? And did you bring anything back that you can keep as a memento from your daughter? Like my kids, my girls, and my son when they were small, they would draw pictures or they would make me something, and I still have a lot of this, many of the things that the children gave me over the years, as well as now my grandchildren, and I cherish them. Does she do anything for you?
Yeah, she does. She draws things. She plays. We color and this and that, but it all stays on board ship or their residence. Right now, I'm not allowed to take anything from the ship to Earth, especially what they call the electronic stuff. They just don't want that released yet. In time, it will be known, and I will be able to bring something down and show the group and stuff, and take pictures of it, and then bring it back up there.
All right, Chuck, please stand by. We've got to take our final break for this hour. X-Zone Nation, our very special guest this hour is Chuck Stansburge. He is the MUFON State Section 12 Director, STAR Team member. He's a CAG member and a field investigator. For more information on MUFON, www.mufon.com. And Chuck and I will be back on the other side of this break as we wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back, everyone. Chuck Stansburge is our special guest of this hour. He is with MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. For more information on MUFON, if you'd like to report a UFO, if you'd like to join MUFON, www.mufon.com. First of all, Chuck, great having you back on the show. Always a pleasure talking to you. And you people at MUFON do so much great work. Please, my very best to all your people in your MUFON group.
Well, thank you.
Chuck, why are cattle being mutilated?
Well, sometimes that's a pretty good question, but when they take certain parts, I'm not sure if they're actually trying to recreate an animal, or I know they take. Sometimes they will take the reproductive organs, and to me, that's what they're doing is probably cloning. That way, they can have as much meat as they want instead of taking it from us down here on Earth. We had one mutilation of sheep down in our state here in 2013, and it was Port Lavaca, and the gentleman lost a bunch of sheep, and we went down there and checked it all out, and of course, the way it was all set up, it was just the same part of the neck that has a slit in it that cattle have, the sheep had as well. And the female's part, their belly was cut open, laid back, the belly was taken out, and the reproductive organs were taken. Nothing else. And people were trying to say, well, that was predators. Well, predators don't know how to do surgery. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the male part, the male sheep, they took their genitals and they do the same thing on the neck. So yes, it's. I think, to me, I'm not sure why they're doing it, but to me it sounds like, or it feels like, that they are cloning these types of animals so they'll have plenty of meat for themselves.
Makes sense. My final question for you, Chuck, we've got about a minute and a half here. Why the truth embargo on UFOs?
That, my friend, is a very big question. I have no idea why they're doing it. But the people right now, with people like myself and others, that are spreading the word and actually seeing actual UFOs and stuff, are starting to learn that why are they trying to have the embargo on this stuff when they're real, when they're really out there, and especially when people have been abducted or, as myself, learned to live with them and work with them, which is amazing to me, and it's always amazing whenever I go up.
Chuck, I want to thank you ever so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for sharing your amazing story, and I look forward to the next time you and I meet back here in the X Zone. So until then, take care of yourself, Chuck.
I will, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine.
Look in the sky.
I will, my friend. X Zone Nation, Chuck Stansburge has been our guest this hour. For more information on UFOs, if you'd like to report a UFO, www.mufon.com. That's it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. So until tomorrow night, remember, X Zone Nation, to always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night now.